What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Scott Lewis, Apartment Gamer and More, Brooklyn Nets Stoop Edition. We're talking over about. We have a pregame today. They play the Charlotte Hornets, and we also want to talk a little bit about Danny Wolf and his role in the future and the future of the Brooklyn Nets. I'm gonna bring up some stats. Let's look at these stats that we have on Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf is by far one of the most interesting drafts that we got this year. He played 30 minutes against the Bucks. He averaged 22 points, 8 for 16, 5 for 9 from 3, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block. I mean, he's filled in the stat. The only thing he didn't get is a steal. The last game before that, he played 13 minutes. And in that 13 minutes, he scored 5 points, 0 for 2, 0 for 1, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Since then, played a total of, I'm going to just go through his regular season total. He played 10 minutes. He has 10 minutes, 5 points, 4.2. He shot 42% from the field, which is not bad for considering that he only been in 4 games. 50% from 3. I mean, those are not, I expect to see Danny Wolf on the court a little more than now, since we had a taste of what he's capable of. It's just a matter of Jordy getting the right lineup out there and putting them out there. We have here John. What's up, John? What's up, John? What's up? You hear me?
Hey Scott,
Hey, what's up, John? How you been?
doing good. Just having a little late lunch. How you
Oh,
doing?
okay. We're talking a little bit about Danny Wolf.
Of course.
You want to see a little more of him, right?
I want to see Drake Powell start tonight. I saw no
Oh, that
Terrence
would be
Mann.
nice
Please,
too.
please,
Yeah.
no Tyrese Martin. For the love of Pete and Almighty, no Tyrese Martin. I
I
can't.
don't know why he loved Martin, don't he? He loved Martin. I mean, it must be his IQ. It has to be his IQ that he's feeling. I mean, other than that, I don't see any other reason. I mean, it must be his IQ. It must be his IQ. But I'm hoping to get more of Danny Wolf involved. Yeah, it would be nice to see Drake Powell out there and Sharif Ben Sharaf out there. So that being said, let's yeah, it would be nice to have all the rookies actually out there. I think Igor can play today. He was out the day before. It's no sense for me looking at the lineup. It's just too soon. Sometimes they wait till like the last 30 minutes before the game time to put that lineup out there, the official lineup. So we'll see. Let's see. NBA. Let's go. Let's take a look at. Let's take a look at. Let's take a look at the standings. Let's take a look at the standings. Let's add that in. Okay. And when we take a look at the standings, we see that the Pistons, 16 in the Eastern Conference, are playing really decent ball. The Knicks moved up. I don't know who gave them this lineup. I mean, this schedule because they actually in second place and played less games than everybody. They 13-6. Raptors are 14-7. They got one more game in the win column, as well in the losing column, and that's pretty much every team in the Eastern Conference. The Heat 13-7. The Hawks 13-8. I mean, it's all budget. It's all one game from each other. The Magic is 12-8. Cavs are 12-9. Celtics are 11-9. 76 is 10-9. The Bulls are 9-10, and they made a step backwards. I think they actually was playing good early, but now slowed down. The Bucks are 9-12. That's going to be interesting what Giannis do at the end of the season if they don't make the playoffs. If they might make the play in, but the playoffs
It
is what.
it's definitely going to be a scrap fight for the play-in spot. I mean, the Bulls just started off very hot, but I think we all knew they were going to regress here or there.
Yeah,
They might though want to make a move for Anthony Davis. So I'm hearing Davis might want to go to hometown Chicago. So they're definitely a team that could save their season a little bit here.
yeah, that is true. That's true. They could save their season with Anthony Davis. Um, the Hornets are 6-14. The Pacers are 4-16. The Nets are 3-16, of course, and the Wizard and the Nets. We knew coming into the season what the game plan was. I mean, at least I and a lot of the fans were talking about we need to retool, and it's evident that that's what they do. The Thunder is killing 20-1. They are just killing the West. I don't know what the Thunder is doing. I don't know what's in their Kool Aid, but they are playing outstanding ball. The Lakers are a surprise to me at second, 15-4. The Rockets are 13-4. The Nuggets are 14-5, staying right behind the Lakers. The Spurs is playing decent for considering how young they are. They 13-6. They just lost their last game, I think. Yes, they did. The Timberwolves are 12-8, hanging in there. The surprise team that I think in the West is the Suns at 12-9. They are playing outstanding. Who knew that their backcourt would be this good? Who could have knew that? The Warriors are 11-10. I think that shakeup is about to come soon. The Grizzlies 9-12. I mean, they just a couple of losses away before they start going looking around. Trailblazers are 8-12. Jazz is 6-13. They look like they trying not to tank this season. Finally, the the Mavericks the Mavericks are 6-15. Um, I don't even know what to say. I mean, they a young team. They seem like I don't know where the Mavericks want to go, but they ain't gonna be rebuilding soon.
They're
Clip,
gonna trade Davis. We keep hearing that he's likely
yeah,
to go, but they have Cooper. They got their young guy, and I think they want to keep Kyrie as like a mentor and a co-star. So they have a way out of this. They got lucky. It's just they got to move some pieces around to realize that they need some capital back to move
right,
forward because
yeah,
that's what's important here. But the
yeah.
Clippers,
It's like a semi rebuild, right?
exactly, semi. But the what happened with the Clippers, man? This is historically a disaster. Scott, I'm hearing panic
Wow.
worldwide from all NBA teams, tanking teams that are like, is OKC really about to become the most powerful sports team in history?
I don't think that would be good for the NBA, but
It'd be good
hey,
for nobody. It'd be
uh,
good for nobody. They're the last team that should get a top pick. But this is what happens when you make big deals for a guy that you think's going to carry you to a title and you win nothing. This is what you get. I mean, OKC have robbed the Clippers for decades right now, potentially, and they still have another pick the following year that they can get from them. Like this is like the heist of the millennia. What OKC did to the Clippers. That's what it's looking like.
yeah, yeah. It's not paying off for whatever the Clippers have done. 5-15 right now, and you don't even have your own pick is crazy.
right?
The
And people
Kings. Yeah, go ahead.
And people are wondering, are the Clippers still going to try to find a way to crawl out of this, or are they just going to embrace rebuilding, which requires trading James and Kawhi for what you can get? I think for Harden, what he's done at 36, a little Houston Harden, but besides him, you're not going to get a whole lot back for everybody else. So they have to make a decision very soon because you don't want to be starting out down 10 games and then in a tough schedule be down by 15 or 20 games. Then you just have to call it at that point. But I think they have to do it. But at the same time, you're admittedly giving a pick away to OKC. But if the Clippers want to try one last ditch attempt to fix this, I've heard MPJ in trade discussion rumors, something like John Collins, Bogdanovich, and a first round pick for an MPJ. I'd be open to it because Bogdanovich and Collins' contracts, I think, are expiring, and we could get one last pick of theirs that ain't usable for the next 5 or 6 years. So if they
Right.
want to do a last ditch thing, we're a team that's open for business. And I did hear that they might want to get under the luxury tax a bit. So they might try to sell off some pieces to still try to fix this. And if they do, we're a team that's open for business. But they're definitely likely going to call it soon, which this is just crazy that OKC could have a top 10 pick next year, which this is why protecting your lottery position is crucial because you have teams who don't deserve top picks are in this lottery race right now. That's the Hawks because they have the Pelicans pick, Pacers because they got their own pick back. Boston is like dwindling between there and there. Philly, they've been okay to start the season, but they've been teeter tottering between lottery and playing and the playoffs. So yeah, there's some teams who don't deserve top picks that are in this with us. So if the Nets are going to sell some pieces soon, be direct about it and secure your position, or else you're going
Right.
to get asked out in one of the most historic top drafts in a long time.
Yeah. Well, we got a 4 game losing streak, and we staying pat at 3. I mean, we are the third worst team in the NBA right now as we stand. So
Hey, we are the third worst team, but what do we get in the last 2 games? Development, development, development. We seen Diego have a great moments. Powell's still trying to break out. I
yeah,
understand people disagree about Jordy's having a decision on this, but I think Powell's just trying to do the right thing as a young up and coming player. But we've seen the athletic ability, we've seen the defense. I just think he needs to have more trust in himself and to have more trust from his
he need more
teammates.
time on the court. That's what it is, right?
Most definitely, because he shouldn't be a secondary playmaker off the bench. They should run one or two, three offensive sets through him in like 2 to 4 minute intervals, just to
So
let this kid get more confident in his abilities. Because he has abilities. Out of all of our players,
he
he's
just got
probably
to
one of
bring
the
it.
he's probably in like the best shape out of a lot of our players, especially our rookies. With what he's shown he can do, he just needs, like you said, more time. And then
Right.
Danny Wolf, the man of the hour, the big bad wolf, Danny Boy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you see my thumbnail?
Yeah, that was awesome. We got to stick with you. Got to make that a profile pic now. That's really good.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
but
yeah. Danny Wolf is interesting player. I like Powell. I like so far. Like I said, they need to play. They need some time on the court. That's what it is. That's all. That's all. I understand everyone is gonna have their weakness, but and I hope every fan knows that it ain't gonna all look rosy, but you can see development. You can see what they've made of as the season move on. So that's why
right.
it's important for them to get playing time.
Most definitely. And Danny Wolf, the impact he's shown you in limited time. This goes back to preseason when he was given 5 to 10 minutes, like in what, third, fourth quarter, fills
Right,
up a stat sheet very quickly. This guy is not afraid to be offensively aggressive. And he's the oldest rookie we drafted. So he has that experience of he's not scared to play
right.
in the NBA, which is so important. I know we all look at the defensive weaknesses. He's not athletic. He's like more of like a Sanguine Sabonis type big potentially, but he's a playmaking center, which is something we've never had on our team. So I think the Nets should give him a chance. I think for Claxton and Dayron, we have seen what they've done the last 5 to 7 years. They've hit ceilings on this team. I mean, Claxton, the assist numbers and free throws much improved. He still is not interior defensive paint against the best bigs in the NBA. And if you want to win it all, you need a center that can actually go toe to toe against some of the opposing bigs. In the last 2 games, we haven't really faced some of the best bigs, and Claxton's just not looked like he wants to be involved a lot. So, you've seen the smoke and mirrors with Claxton. You've seen how good he can be, but you also seen how bad he still is. And with Dayron,
Yeah, I personally speaking, and John jumped out. Go ahead, John.
even set a screen without getting a foul. Like we've seen the fundamental errors from these two bigs. At least with Danny Wolf, you see the offensive potential he has already. So I just think they should give Danny Wolf a platform this year to see what he can do. And if you feel by the end of the season he could be your center of the future, give him a chance. But if you want to go after a center next summer, if we trade Claxton, we could have potentially $50 to $60 million in cap space to go after a center. And I know free agency looks dead with centers, but there is a trade market for some bigs, so the Nets definitely should keep their options open there. But Wolf is definitely making the case to be a part of the future. The fact that his 3 point shot looks better, he can go to the rim a lot on layups, and he passed the ball very well too. So there's a lot to like with Danny Wolf's game. But like you said, Scott, for this next quarter of the season, just let these rookies get as much playing time as possible to develop their confidence, refine their skill sets, and to show that they could be rotation guys. If Yegor, Powell, and Wolf, 3 out of 5 of our guys, can be rotation guys by the end of the season, we're actually ahead of the curve more than we should be. And that's on
Right.
them playing for their roles and earning it. So I hope we can see more of this. I hope Jordy stays away from the adopted stepsons, Terrence Mann and Tyrese Martin, and eventually they get dealt because those two guys, they're journeymen. You can't put them on high roles on this team over your rookies when they're the future and these guys could be traded at any minute. So I just hope Jordy fully gets it through his system. I know he's trying a bit to make it seem like he is embracing it, but you got to fully embrace it, especially to push these rookies to another level since you had a hand in drafting those rookies.
Right, right, right. Yeah, you would think that that would be beneficial to Sean Marks because he did draft him, and his career, his record is this is his record. This is his
A lot of zeros in that record. But I agree with you. I will even acknowledge to Joey, who's called me out on this bit, saying that, oh, you can't say we've never drafted guys when now we have guys to draft. But you look at the last 10 years. Any of our homegrown talent ever touched All NBA, Defensive Player of the Year award, All Star games? I mean, we had the D'Lo thing, but we traded for him. Joe Harris won the 3 point contest. We traded for him too. It's like, we never had a homegrown guy to actually earn accolades for this team, but I could see potentially Yegor Power Wolf if the next 2 to 3 years they could put themselves in those accolade conversations if they get the full trust. But up to this point, we have not been known to do that because we always trade our picks for big stars, and the stars don't want to stay here for more than 2 years. So hopefully, by the end of the season, at least those three guys, Powell, Wolf, and Yegor, will be at least part of the rotation where we know they can be serviceable guys to whoever you draft next year or whoever you go out to get and maybe the trade market. It's just starting next year. It's time to make winning moves for this team because we want these young guys to feel like they're part of a winning culture, not that you're just going to be standbys to eventually be traded, or when their contracts come up, then you look to move them. Like I hope the
right, right. What's up, Gallo? Well, I wasn't a bad idea at the time. Kawhi coming off a championship, and PG 13 was third in MVP the year prior before they made that trade. You talking about the Clippers?
Clippers, man, they are
Well,
dunzo.
at that time, yes, it wasn't a bad thing. I mean, it. At some point, you have to say to yourself, "Where is it working or is it not?" I mean, they stuck with it for a minute, and then they decided to jump out. And I don't know if they really, committed to a rebuild in Clipperland. Have they ever really tried to rebuild the team? Because they kept it with veterans and a lot of trades. In hindsight, it looks bad, but at the time, it really wasn't.
The sad thing is they got Kawhi just before his body completely shut down.
Yeah, I mean
They
they couldn't have seen that, but I do understand. I do understand. Yeah, his body hasn't been the same.
It hasn't. Like they haven't. For them, this is about crawling out of a disaster situation, and trying to walk somewhat. So, but I think they had their chance when they had PG. Like last year, when they had Harden, PG, and Kawhi, and they went on that winning streak. That was their best shot to potentially maybe have a deep run. But they just got older as a team, and now they have to basically sell off a lot of pieces for nothing, minus James Harden, who you might be able to get 1 or 2 picks back for. But you're
Right.
definitely not gonna get no 3 or 4 for these two guys, especially Kawhi, because his injuries, the off court drama. I mean, the Clippers still get investigated. Like they potentially could lose more capital if Kawhi is found, and the organization is
Guilty of
found
something,
guilty.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this situation is horrible. I think that was what has been shadowing them since the season started. And you can just tell nobody is focused, nobody cares. And the crazy thing is they put themselves in this situation. And I know Philly was brought up with the PG thing.
Right. Go
I heard
ahead.
something. I heard something that maybe Philly might want to trade Paul George by the deadline. Their situation is very fluid because Embiid, he played the other day. He's out again. Like his leg might seriously be cooked. Like he's just not being available. Like the soreness he has, they're saying there's no breaks or anything, but it's like a chronic thing that this guy has now. So you wonder if Philly's going to consider trying to maybe trade George to at least give them a chance to maybe get off of the Embiid contract because it looks like that's Tyrese Maxi's team right now. So it'll be interesting to see if Philly tries to do something at the deadline too.
Yeah. Gallo said, I know the Raptors are interested in Dayron. Oh, they.
Interesting.
Well, I hope so.
I, I
I'm disappointed with Dayron's gameplay lately. I mean, I know he's better than what he's showing.
it's just not be able to dribble basketball, not be able to set a screen. Like he's in the best shape I think of his career, but you still see the flaws. Like he really can catch lobs, shoot a three every 10 games, and rebound. But his rebounding hasn't even been good lately. Like
That's what
two
I'm saying,
rebounds,
and
four
that was his
rebounds.
strength.
Yeah.
That was one of his strengths is rebounding, but that not being able to make the high pick and roll is crazy.
That's why I think you got to look to move him. But the good thing, like Jagelio says, is there are a lot of teams interested. There were teams interested in Dayron last year, like Memphis and maybe a Clippers at one point. Like there are teams that are looking for backup bigs. And I feel like with Wolf, if you're somehow not going to trade Claxton, you got to move Dayron and let Wolf be the official backup. At least so Wolf is a part of this rotation. Coming off the bench because Dayron, I feel like the ceiling is there. Thank goodness we only signed him to 6 mil this offseason, which makes the contract very tradable. You probably collect maybe 2 or 3 seconds for Dayron. So the Nets have a chance to do some good business there with Dayron potentially. And the thing with Philly is if Philly is willing to offer up Paul George, that Clippers 2020 first, and Scott, you there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
We
said, I said I don't mind trading a podcaster for a podcast if I can get another first round pick. So like that could be something to talk about too. But definitely Dayron is on the trade bubble. Another guy, Zaire. A lot of people are losing favor with Zaire, especially Jordy, who benched him. I thought Zaire was like that first successful reclamation project of Jordy's, but he too is only making $6 million, and he could be a valuable utility 3 and D role player to a lot of different teams. So Zaire and Dayron might have some of the best value on our
on our team. That's what you think?
impossible trade moves.
You think so? You
Yeah,
think?
I wouldn't want to trade either one. Dayron, I'm open to just because I'm not seeing a lot of good with his progress. But Zaire, I'd want to keep because he gives you a lot of defensive intangibles. He's a good bench piece for us. But if you're offered a decent amount of draft capital for Zaire, if that's multiple second picks and a expiring salary, you definitely have to listen to it. Just because we're trying to get as much assets to go after it as far as going back to being a winning team next year. So I
Right.
could see Zaire potentially being on the bubble.
What about Ben Seraph? What y'all
So
guys think about Ben Seraph?
the best thing I could say about Seraph is he looked competent. The other game, we had the 10 points, 7 assists. He
Yeah,
looked
he has a
confident.
maturity. He has a maturity about his game, though. Yeah.
He looked confident. The playmaking is something that we saw already in preseason, but making those threes consecutively, that was definitely a shift a little bit there. It would be nice to see if Seraph could actually maintain this as a backup piece for us this season, but I think we're still wary on what his true role is because Nolan Traore is making noise now in the G League. So those two guys are directly competing for a backup role at this point as a six-man potentially for us. So I think it's either one of there's opportunities to take it. It's just I'm not giving it to Seraph or Nolan until I see them do this consistently for about a month on our team. Can't just go by
Right.
flashes.
Right. Right. He put up 29 minutes against the Bucks. He was 4 for 8, 2 for 4, 7 assists, 1 block. Surprised you got that block, but then again, he is 6'7", 6'6". So I mean, you could put up 10 points. He put up good, decent numbers considering. You know, my thing with the rookies is they need to shoot more.
Right.
Really need to get out there and just let it go. But in time, I think that I don't know if Jordy is doing the right thing, but I know he know what the game plan is.
I give these rookies a lot of credit because they're doing it on their merit. Like every time when they're a little selfish, taking their own shots, they get better. When they're passive and giving the vets all the shots, they don't look like they're impacting the game whatsoever. So Jordy, I think, needs to lessen the leash a little bit with some of these guys. I think they want to reward Jordy's faith in them, but Jordy can act like he can control how they play on the court all the dang time by keeping them reserved. You saw Wolf; he's not being reserved whatsoever. He's like, "You give me a job out there, I'm going to score, 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 score." Be impactful, pass the rock here or there, but I'm still going to be impactful. So that should be with all these rookies, even Seraph and Nolan, if they do get consistent minutes when they get called up, both of them. So I agree with some people saying you should be able to play three rookies off the bench at this point to let them all get run somewhat. Like
Yeah, yeah, so
we
they can
need them
get
to
that
get this
time in.
experience
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
Gallo said he needs to be consistent with his shot. You talking about Ben Sharaf? He played pretty well last game. Yes, he did. He did play pretty well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how tonight goes. We're facing a younger Hornets team. It'll be interesting to see if Wolf gets more playing time off the bench. I think he's already potentially earned himself a second unit role because Jordy didn't hesitate to put him in the first quarter. I think last game against the Bucks, right, off
Right,
the
right,
bench.
right.
So if I see Wolf come off the bench in the first quarter, okay, there's a huge chance this guy's not going anywhere near the G League, and he shouldn't. Do not associate Wolf with the G League ever. Like that should not
Yeah,
be a thing. But it makes you wonder whose role gets put back. I think if Dayron doesn't play a lot tonight, Wolf might take that spot from him. I know Jordy experimented with
well, we lost John again.
maybe just give Wolf the run at the backup because if you play his rookies more, some guys' roles will get put back. But not having Man tonight, it'd be nice to see a Drake Powell start the game to just see what him and Jaeger can do in a backcourt together instead of a Tyrese Martin, which I don't think has to happen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see Martin no more, really. And and I'm not saying that to be mean. I not to say that he's not, he doesn't have a purpose. What I'm saying is, right now, it's kind of difficult to put Martin in the game when you know you need these rookies to get some run.
I agree. And I just think for Martin, this guy is a vet player. He's not going to get 5, 10, $50 million contract from our cap space next year. Like, people got to realize that too. Like, we have this thing of inflating, temporary options to be top options, but it doesn't look good as a whole. At least with the rookies last few games, you're seeing a direction. You're seeing these guys actually give you impactful minutes, and the energy just feels a lot better than just giving the Martins, the Mans, the Wilsons all this time in the world when everybody knows they're either likely getting traded or waived. I mean, Martin could be waived. If we do a trade at the deadline, there's a chance Martin's non-guaranteed money just gets waived off the books. So it's like, do you really want him having this impact when there's a high chance if you trade one of Claxton or MPJ for other contracts and picks that this guy doesn't just get kicked out? Like
Right,
people got to realize that too. Like it's good that the rookies are playing. It's just Jordy. He's still fighting between developing and wanting to win, win, win. But it's like, look how good the last two games have been for development. You're actually seeing the rookies get more confident and assertive. And I hope for Drake Powell that they take, the chains off a bit for this kid because he can score. Like, don't have him reserved as a bench guy that could just play make. There is a lot more to Drake Powell's game. And because he's trying to follow Jordy's plan, people are telling me that this guy should be sent to the G League because he needs offensive confidence. Really? How about his defense? Who besides is Wilson playing a good defense? Is Mann playing good defense? Is Mar playing good defense? These guys play horrible defense, but Jordy never calls it out. But he'll call out Drake Powell or Zaire saying that they have to do this or that. No, let Drake Powell play his game and you'll get results, just like with Wolf. So I hope this is the start of these rookies get more playing time because they're now in December. There's 13 days before trade deadline season begins. So maybe the rest of the MPJ because they're talking to some teams about trading him. Maybe they're going to rest a Claxton or maybe they're
Shit.
resting Man now
What's
because
up?
they might want to trade them for something. So if this is the way the ball's going to get running, just keep playing your rookies and then we'll be on a great course to collecting some good final assets and set ourselves up for a top pick. I just hope that this continues, not that when Haywood or Cam come back, these rookies just get put to the sidelines. No, we're committed to this now, and you just have to figure out a way to get these expendable pieces off the team. It's that simple at this point.
yeah. Well, we got Leaf here. What's up, Leaf?
I got a few minutes, man, before I drop some of this furniture off. I would just like to alarm everybody that somebody had 30, 17, and 5 blocks last night. I'm not gonna say his name.
Dak D.
I'm not gonna say his name, but listen, I will say, I'm listen. Don't call me. Don't call me talking about you need a big. Don't call me
You did
because
call.
I already gave you. I already gave everybody the 411,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
nobody wanted to listen. So don't call me. Don't call me about. Don't. I ain't gonna tell you that his game translated to the league. I ain't gonna tell you nothing. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. But as far as Drake Powell goes, bro, I just think his selling point right now is athleticism, defense, wingspan. It's a lot of athleticism in this game, man. He could get to some shots, but I don't like that in terms of like lighten up the scoreboard or lighten up the offensive end easily.
That's to be
Danny
seen.
Danny Wolf has done it better, done it faster than all of our rookies.
Yeah.
Let's make that plain and simple.
Yeah, no,
So
Danny showed that he is NBA ready. Or he can be that NBA dude. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I definitely get it.
Sky, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Um,
so yeah, Danny is definitely NBA ready. That's for
oh,
sure.
definitely, and it'll be interesting to see what his ultimate role is if he's a forward or a center. I think he's a point center, but it doesn't hurt to have another big next to him on the court. Like if we could get a Cam Boozer or a Caleb Wilson, you can play either one of those two guys next to a Danny Wolf because they're both strong, physical. I think Caleb's a little more athletic than Boozer, but they have the NBA physical body size. I know Wilson's only 208, but he defends at a high level like he's a lot stronger than he looks. So those two guys I could see play next to a Danny Wolf on the court because if you can have Wolf run point as a center and there's another big player that could be near the lob line, it really it gives you an impactful combo there at the front court. So it'll be interesting to see what other matchups Jordy tries to pair to see what works with Wolf. I know he's trying to experiment him with Dayron and Claxton, have Clowney as a three. But I don't know if that works long term with Clowney. And let's actually talk about Clowney because I was on BK show a bit last night. I think we all kind of agreed on the fact that Clowney offensively is taking some great leaps, but the defense with Noah Clowney is still something that doesn't feel like it's really hit a benchmark, Like
Yeah,
beginning of the season, he
it's like
wasn't blocking
something
a
is
lot.
missing. It's like
Yeah, and
something.
like
Go ahead.
strength, like he is 234 pounds, which he on the offensive side looks much better, right? We all agree on that. But
Yeah,
defensively, I saw Miles Turner just knock him on his ass. I haven't seen Clowney get like a lot of crazy blocks. I know if he's made some defensive plays, I saw in the Philly game, but is he ultimately like that top power forward that could be a great defender as much as he is a decent offensive player? I don't see it yet, and I hope he still has more time. He's just been in rotation for a month. Maybe December, January, he turns up the Jets. But if we get to the end of the season, his numbers are kind of like where they are right now, which is decent. I'm more willing to draft Cam Boozer or Wilson to be the four than I am with Clowney, just because we need Clowney to have that big leap to show he can be an actual power forward on both sides of the ball. And just defensively, he still looks undersized out there against some of the bigs. He's not a five. He's not a three. I mean, they really try to experiment with the three, but he doesn't have the dribble skills to be a consistent three. So he's either a starting power forward or he's a backup. And when he was at the backup this year, he was really just lack of confidence, no physicality, just wasn't playing well at all. So I hope we see a 2 big month spring here from Noah Clowney on defense, especially because I think his role is not as secure as some people thought it could be, even though he's doing some good things. It's just,
yeah.
is he the ultimate two-way? That's what I'm trying to get. He's the ultimate two-way power forward of our future. I don't see full two-way yet. I see a good
So
offensive big that still has some
yeah,
limitations.
that's fair. Yeah. I mean, Clowney's dribbling ability has kind of like disappoint me. I thought he was working on his
Mm-hmm.
ability to get into the paint, which he started out doing, but
Right.
then it just seemed like it just. I don't know. I just can't figure it out.
It's been better again to the free throw line. I think he's been one of our best free throw guys. I look at some of the stats. He's like 6 or 7 from free throw. None of our guys
Exactly.
can get from like 5 or 5. So that's been an improvement. It's just two. If we're looking for an ultimate two-way power forward, it's not Noah Clowney right now. When you look at a guy like Cam Boozer, you could see the potential there. Same with Caleb Wilson. That guy is one of the best defenders in this draft right now. So if we have a chance to draft either one of those two guys, there's a strong argument that Clowney hasn't done enough by then. Now, could he potentially have great stats by the end of the season that really makes you have a conversation? Yes. But ultimately, Clowney still looks undersized out there as a forward. So either we draft one of those two guys and he has to move to the bench and somehow find a way to be a decent role player for us. But if not, he is due for an extension next year. And that's where this gets interesting because Nick Claxton's the only guy, homegrown guy, we ever give a big contract to. So is Noah Clowney going to get an actual extension to stay on this team? Or if
Yeah.
the Nets get a Wilson or Boozer to be that forward, does Clowney then become a trade chip to go get a big piece with if he's a part of some type of package with an MPJ and picks? So I think Noah Clowney's done good offensively. It's just defensively, I haven't seen a lot where I go, wow, because we saw Clowney when he came up. He was blocking a lot of shots. Remember his first
Right.
kind of half year with the Nets? He was actually
Right.
looking like a defender out there. Last 2 years has been more offensive, and this year I've seen some improved defense, but I haven't seen like ultra defense. Like
Right.
he's not
It's
locking down
just
a lot of
not. It's just
players.
not consistent. But I mean, he's been getting good minutes as we see here. He didn't get. I don't think he had a good game against the Bucks, and that's why he didn't play that many minutes. I think Jordy decided not to play him because maybe he was, he put in 35 minutes against the 76ers. He didn't shoot well against the Sixers, and he had 2 blocks. So, and he had 7 rebounds. So, against the Knicks, he put up 31 points. And that's when we was thinking that, he's coming around. He was shooting very good in November. It's the beginning of November he wasn't showing too much, but
Right.
I just thought that the against the Bucks it was a setback.
No, I agree. I think offensively he's taken some strides here for sure. But if we're looking at the guys in this draft, the Boozers, the Wilsons, even Nate Amont, who I think some people are undervaluing right now, or AJ DeMonster, like those guys all have intangibles that you want on this team right now. And for Clowney, he's unfortunately in that position where he's neither a 3 or 5, so he can't expand his role if we do get a Boozer or Wilson who are straight up fours. Like
Right.
they would basically take his spot. Then he either has to be a good forward off the bench, but we saw Clowney off the bench, just not impactful whatsoever. And that was really making you go, damn, is this guy a complete bust? Then you put him in the starting lineup, you're seeing the strides. But again, if he has to move his role to the bench, will he take what he's learned from the starting role and use that to give him better confidence? We'll have to see. But he's also due for an extension next year. So this really does become a precarious situation. If you do get Boozer or Wilson, he becomes either a good role piece or he becomes an expandable trade piece, and that's a scary thing. But that's our record though. We've never really invested in too many homegrown guys, and I think
Right.
Noah Clowney's a good offensive guy with what he's shown you. He's 3 point shots look a lot more confident. He's getting to the rim a lot more from free throws. He still doesn't have a mid range shot whatsoever. He has a few dunks, but yeah, you look at the totality. Is that an ultimate two-way power forward with star potential? I don't see it right now. I don't
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, that's being fair though.
Yeah,
I think he can be a good player coming off the bench, but he has to show it. I mean, it's difficult to come off the bench when trying to get your game going.
right. And we just saw him not look confident whatsoever being a bench guy. And if he did move his role back there and he does bad and we give him an extension, that's a waste of an extension. So his role is definitely a question mark just because some of the draft people we want are they play the
They
position he
fit into
plays.
his spot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have the Danny Wolf component where he could be your 5, but you need to have a strong 4 next to him that could rebound, defend well to cover up his weaknesses. And does a Clowney and Wolf combo give you like ultra confidence that that can handle some of the best
Well,
matchups in the NBA?
I don't
Eh,
know. I don't know.
yeah,
We need to see it. And there's a
yeah,
lot of things, like I said, a lot of things that we are talking about, we need to see because we haven't seen that lineup. So we need to see more of it because it
right.
takes a minute for players to get accustomed to each other. So it's to be fair, we have been changing our lineup like crazy, and I can't be good for Noah Clowney neither.
Right. Well, especially with the Wolf thing, because you've seen the different rotations now. Where was it? It was what a Terrence Mann, Drake Powell, Noah Clowney, Wolf, and Dayron, and then there was like a Drake Powell, Martin, Clowney. Claxton and Wolf. Like I appreciate actually Jordy experiments, because that's what you're supposed to do this type of year. See what works and what doesn't, but you don't want to keep experimenting where nobody feels comfortable in their positions. This is why positionless basketball doesn't work for us right now, because we don't have the pieces that fit. You can't just have guys pretend to be point guards or pretend to be scoring guards or pretend to be centers. It's never going to
Yeah,
work. Like
yeah.
that's why we need to figure out who are the components this year that we can put in our team next year. I think Wolf fits just because he could be a point center. He could run an offense, and he could also have another big next to him that could be a lob threat because he has a great assist throw that he does. So he fits that potentially. If he could get a little defensively stronger, he's a great part of that. Noah Clowney, does he have the ability to be an ultimate two-way guy to guard different positions? That still remains to be seen. And then
But
MPJ, we know he's a defensive liability, and we don't know if he's a long-term piece either. And then our backcourt, I think Yegor has shown you some defensive effort lately, but he's still miles away from being his physical peak.
yeah, yeah, he miles away from being it to his where he need to be at. So that it's an interesting situation. I mean, we know that this is going to be like hopscotch lineups, and that's exactly why we getting. Hopefully, Noah Clowney can get an opportunity to. Either way, when you look at the Nets, we know this roster is going to eventually be fluid. It's going to change up. Players are going to move. So hopefully everything works out for Noah Clowney. I really do. I think he's a good player. I think he can.
Hey, Scott.
Even yeah, what's up? Even if Noah Clowney doesn't be with us, he would do well in the NBA on another team.
Yeah, I said like the other day, like on rebuilding teams, he could be a starter or a decent backup, but on contending teams right now, there's no role for him, and that's why like it's precarious for Noah Clown. He's either a starting four or he's a backup four, and nothing in between. And for the Nets, if you want to get a top draft pick next year in the top five, like those guys are a lot of them are forwards, so that's where it just becomes a tough situation. Now, I did say that if we drafted Cam Boozer, you could theoretically play him at the three, keep Clowney at the four, and have Wolf at the five. That could be an interesting offensive trio. Now, is it going to be a strong defensive trio? That remains to be seen. But you'll take the offense just to figure out if those three could work together. But besides Boozer, I don't see any other guy that could save Noah Clowney's spot at the four, besides drafting Darren Peterson to be your point guard, which then takes away Yegor's development at the one. So yeah, like the decisions we make, if we do somehow get a top five pick, we have tough decisions to make with who's currently occupying our starting spots, because I think pretty much every spot in our starting five is up for grabs at this point. Like Clax is not the future of five, MPJ is not the future of three, Noah Klein is not the future of four. Terrence Mann, Tyree Smart, no many times you put them in, they're not the future at two. Then Yegor, I think he's the one right now, but Yegor still has a lot he has to figure out with his offensive consistency, his defensive game, and just getting stronger as a player. But I believe that Yegor could eventually be our starting guard. It's just he's going to need a lot of work. So, like that's where it comes down to. That top lottery pick next year could really make or break who's in your current lineup right now. So definitely have some tough decisions to make for sure. But it's good that we're at least evaluating to see what could work and what could not work. So I think Wolf could work. I think Clowney still has some opportunities to get more balanced as a player, but we have these decisions to make with the trade deadline coming up. It'll be very interesting to see what this roster looks like after February 5, if we made some big changes or we made some micro changes. But that's definitely going to impact how you use your cap space next summer and who you draft.
Right, right. That makes sense. If we take Peterson, Jaeger's position would be in jeopardy. You think?
Yeah, because Darren Peterson's a starting point guard. He's an ultimate combo guard. Like he just brings so many different intangibles. I'm not going to call him Kobe Bryant because that's disrespectful, I think, to Kobe, because that was a one of one.
Right. That's fair. Yeah, I definitely.
He's definitely the top point guard in this draft, and he's a scoring guard too. Like he could do it all. So at the guard position, but that would definitely make Yegor's position definitely a little strenuous. Like then you have to go with the idea of converting him to the three as a wing. But then if MPJ's there, he has no shot at being in the starting lineup. So then Yegor has to be either a backup point guard, but then you have Nolan and Saraf competing for that. So yeah, honestly, getting Darren Peterson like this not to drive anybody crazy, but it would make the Nets have to basically reconsider a lot of things in their backcourt, which
Yeah.
already has a lot of question marks. That's why getting a forward like a Boozer, a Mont, or Caleb Wilson, it's a lot easier because really it's just Noah Clowney's role you have to figure out. But Darren Peterson, you have to figure out three different roles at that point. How
Right.
to make that all work. So I honestly, if I had the number 1 or 2 pick, I wouldn't choose Darren Peterson. I know that might make people go, "Oh my God, John, you know what they're talking about." Listen, what is a huge priority for us right now? The backcourt or the front court? I think the front court because we have a guy who's going to make $40 million in expiring salary next year. Claxton is not our center of the future. And Noah Clowney, besides the offensive game being real good this year, defensively, he's not done anything spectacular. So the front court's a huge problem. Look at some of these front courts. They're getting bigger and badder by the day. Our front court's been better than what it was with Cam Thomas in the lineup, but we only moved up maybe like 8 spots on defense. We're still bottom 20. So
Yeah.
like that front court is a huge area of concern. And if we have a top pick, I'm looking at a Boozer, DeBosta, or a Wilson at this
Right.
point than I would be a Peterson. But that's just my preference. If you
Right.
guys want
Right.
to draft Peterson at 1, I'd still be excited about it. But then what happens to Jaeger's role? What happens to Nolan's role? What happens to Saraf's role? Essentially, you drafted 3 point guards for nothing just to get a
Yeah.
franchise point guard. Scott, that actually would erase this draft pretty much. And then Danny Wolf
Yeah.
would be
I
your only
know.
bright
I
spot
know.
and
You're
power.
right.
So
That's
yeah,
fair. That's fair. That's
that
fair.
would actually create a lot of problems.
Yes, that would be kind of like going backwards.
A lot.
I don't know. That's why I didn't understand the draft. But that's hearsay now. Now we got him, so we got no choice but to kind of work around it. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so the game getting ready to start soon. I'm gonna catch the pregame. Thanks, John. Where they can reach you at, John?
Good conversation as always, Scott. If you ever want to talk fun basketball, follow me on my Twitter. Everything BKNS John. Trying to get to 450 followers. So if you haven't followed already, please send me a follow because I'll keep creating some fun Brooklyn Nets content coming your way. So please and thank
That's
you.
right. That's right. You are active on X, and I enjoy your comments. Uh,
Appreciate yours. Good content as always, Scott. You're a gentleman and a scholar, that's for sure.
Thank you. Thanks, John. All right. Like and subscribe. Don't forget the game tonight. I'll probably be on tonight. Um, peace and love, everybody.
Peace.